live shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
USDT.
Yeah, keep doing your thing.
USDT.
The stupid YouTube, like when you go live, it's like not the most user friendly.
No, they're kind of falling
Oh,
behind
yeah, I
actually.
think
They
we
were
were.
super innovative for 5 years ago, but
No, we are definitely live. Okay, let me just tweet this out.
woohoo!
It's been a. This is
Let the
crazy. Like
shitstorm begin.
it's kind of fucking surreal to be on a stream with you. I must say, this is
Yeah?
quite surreal. Um, Lest anybody think that this is financial advice, it is not. I am here with the one and only Bitcoin fund manager. Is that how you would like me to refer to
Woohoo!
you on this stream? Bitcoin fund
Sure,
manager?
that's perfect. It's all about branding.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, that was one of the things I noticed about you when I first got into crypto and I stumbled across your videos. Um, you were very big on branding, you know.
Yeah.
Originally you were what? Was it Korean Whale Club or what was the name of you would
Yeah,
see
it was
Big Blue Sea. Big
Asian
Blue Sea.
origin first
Yeah.
first of all it was Asian Whale Club.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
And then everybody started posting, hey, Asian Whale Club is a scam. So as
Right.
soon as I got everyone to link to my website, I changed the name to Oriental Whale Club.
Oriental.
Yeah,
Really, I
so
missed
that
that.
basically anybody that, yeah. So then it was just a little too Eastern. So it just became Bitcoin Fund Manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Oriental Whale Club to there was something like Deep Blue Sea or Big Blue Sea.
Yeah, Big
Uh,
Blue Ocean.
Big
It's
Blue
a
Ocean.
Telegram group.
Yeah.
It's our free Telegram.
What's up, everybody? Got some people coming in. Yeah, they've been watching since 2017. I mean, yeah, he's got all the monitors. They're not fake monitors. He's actually dumping coins right now, right?
No, they're fake. It's just the green screen back here. It's if I touch the green cloth back here,
Right.
you'll see everything ripple.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, I have so much to ask you, and I wasn't sure if you were going to show, to be honest, because you disappeared a little bit, and obviously you got things to do. Everybody's got things to do, especially as a fund manager, and shit happens. But I was like, I don't know, is he actually going to show? And of course you did, and you're here, and fuck, like I'm like at a loss of words almost, and I've been planning this all day
No,
because
I totally appreciate the invite. I respect your team and what your team has contributed to what everybody in the dojo has contributed to crypto. So this to me is an honor.
no, no, that's nice of you. I must. I mean, so not for nothing, I received like on the so people sign up for the dojo. We have a website and they have to fill out like a form. So people are
Uh-huh.
literally using the forum to like troll you slash me. So obviously you're a polarizing character. Um, Anytime anybody has interacted with you on Twitter, there will always be someone that posts the famous blog post that chronicles different alleged scams that you've perpetrated. And, they're like, don't you know he's a scammer? He's been scamming. And like some of them are like, my favorite one, I think, is like where you teach people how to do a Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha Fireball. And that video is
Yeah.
gone. I would love to watch that video. Do you still have it?
I took it down because too many weirdos were contacting me. Literally, all my intent for the video was to show you that hey, your influence goes beyond your skin.
Right,
So if I mean most people think, hey, in order for me to touch this, I have to use my skin to touch it, or at least my hair.
right,
But no, you can touch things, you can move things and influence things without physical contact.
right.
So I was just showing people how to do that, and then it got weird. It got over 2 million views, and a bunch of weirdos contacted me about, well, can I turn things to ice? I want to burn my girlfriend's car. Can I do that remotely? So so that no one catches me. I'm like, whoa, this is just getting really out of hand. So I
Right.
just got rid of the video.
Right. So you weren't actually charging people to learn how to make fireballs, or were you?
No, that was free.
That was free. That
That
was
was
free.
free.
But-
What I charged people for were sutras and mantras, affirmations, things to reprogram your mind.
right.
So the simplest example of that would be, um, why am I so poor?
Right.
People ask that question, and if you ask why am I so poor, you're going to get an answer for why you're so poor, and that basically just reaffirms why you should be poor. Well, you're poor because you didn't study hard. Well, you're poor because you don't have rich parents, and all these things set you back into your group. So
Uh-huh.
what I charge people for were the opposite of those things, teaching people to say, why am I going to be rich? Why do I have rich blood? Why do I have wealth in my future? So you repeat those questions over and over again, and it reframes your mind. So those are the things I charge people for.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I noticed as soon as I watched your first video back in 2017, you were standing in front of a monitor setup similar to this, and
Yep.
I said to myself, this motherfucker right here could sell anything. Like quite literally. I think this guy could literally sell anything. And this is I didn't know anything about you, but I'm like, look at him. Like I don't know what it sure sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but like in my Twitter bio, I do say I'm a connoisseur of excellence, and that was like the thing that I noticed right off the bat. I'm like, you happen to end up in crypto. There were other things that you had been doing before this, but it's like that ability, you call it like the gift of gab, like really with that skill set, you could use that anyway, right? Like, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, what's funny? I had a mentor. In fact, one I had three really fantastic mentors, and the first two of them were Jewish, in fact. And one of the guys said, if you could if you could spend an hour making $10 while someone else spends an hour making 100, don't you think there'd be somebody that spends an hour and makes 1,000? So why would you spend an hour making $10? And it just made me think, huh? So basically, after working for him and shining his shoes and driving his car around for him for
Hmm.
about a year and a half, he told me, just keep looking for the things that you can understand and explain that are more expensive. That's all he said. Just understand, explain, more expensive. Just those three things. I
Hmm.
thought, huh, okay. So the most expensive thing I tried to sell were yachts. I
Yeah.
tried to sell yachts at some point, but I never got a good relationship with a yacht dealer that I could trust who would give me commission. So that fell through. But it got to that level where all I'm doing is I'm finding companies, reputable companies that will take leads that I generate and just give me commission checks, give me commission checks.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was
So
the
you
that
were
was the
all you
idea.
were always into sales,
Yeah, I mean, without sales, you can't do anything. Without, I mean, even getting a girlfriend, you got to sell her that
right?
you're rich, you're good in bed, and you're going to age well, right?
You are
So,
Asian, so you have the aging well part. We're not really known for our prowess in the bedroom. Some of us are outliers, of course, but at least you have the rich and the aging well, right? So, well, speaking of women, I mean, what's your type? Do you like Asian women? Do you like white women? As an Asian, half biracial Asian man, I always looked at like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman as like a status symbol. Like if I would see like a Chinese guy or something, or an Asian guy with like, I remember I saw this guy and he was like real geeky looking, and he had this beautiful blonde-haired, all-American kind of woman, and I said, "Look at that fucking guy." I was with my brother. I'm like, "He made it." How do you do it? Like this is he. I gotta applaud that man. He's made it. He's reached the top. I mean, what's your type of woman?
when I was growing up, I spent some time in California in junior high school and high school. And yeah, I mean, when you're in your formative years, everybody likes is what you end up liking. It's just conditioning, right?
Right.
So I did that for a while, and then after a couple of relationships with blondes and white girls in general, I just didn't get along with many of them. There were a few that were spicy and fun to talk to, but most of them just weren't that interesting. For some reason, the personalities didn't quite match. So I started dating Korean girls, and bam, the spice was there, the allure was there. It's a personal thing, I guess. That for everyone,
Yeah.
it's going to be different. Whatever matches you.
Right. So you grew up in California, and I mean, you are now in Korea. What made you leave America and kind of head over there?
Korean girls.
The girls. So
Yep.
really? So you left America
Yep.
for the girls?
Real simple story. I was in America, couldn't find, dated a bunch of white girls and didn't fall in love with any of them. And then I heard rumors that Northern European white girls like Asian guys.
Hmm.
So this is when I was in New York. I heard these rumors. So I went to Northern Europea, Northern Europea,
Northern European.
and yeah, spent about 3, 4 years dating around. And still, there was a culture gap. There was a personality gap. So
You want submissive, right? Is that what it
no, no,
is?
no, no. What I want is spicy. What I want is
Spicy.
challenging and fun.
Hmm.
Um, what I don't want is bland and passive. I
Right.
don't know about submissive is boring. It's submissive. You don't even want employees that are submissive.
Yeah, I'm not a
You
big
don't even
fan.
want a dog that's submissive. So yeah.
So
So
you
anyway,
so
that's
you go to
why I
Korea
finally
for
came.
women and it's like I just we have to talk about this blog post and all these accusations and
Oh yeah,
everything. I
yeah, yeah.
mean, this is kind of your chance to tell your side and really kind of defend yourself. Um,
Sure.
I mean, what is it all lies or is there any truth to this or is it just, I know there are some scenarios where people like to impersonate larger accounts and that's happened to me where somebody's made a fake account and ended up fleecing some guy out of money and they're like, "Oh, like KJ, like this guy may copied you and took your money." But I think like based off of like the accusations that I've seen, it's definitely more than just that. And the people want to know and want to hear what you say to all these accusations. Um,
What most people don't realize is that the internet has been around for over, what, 15 years now, 20 years?
hmm
Ever since, because I'm in my 40s now, just hit my 40s. And so that means that when I was a teenager, when I was 17 or 18, there was something called the internet. And just even before blogs showed up, all you'd have to do is have a successful store or a BBS or something successful, and people would hunt you down and they'd write lies about you. And then what they do is some of these guys, competitors, what they would do is buy from you. They'd physically buy from you so that they have a receipt that shows that they paid you. And then they'll cause all sorts of problems. They'll send things back all destroyed and crumpled and just broken. And then what they'll do is they'll buy 10 more and then break it and then return it. And so, and then they'll document it. But what they'll do is they'll do that to different addresses. They'll do that to their mom's address. They'll do it from their girlfriend's address. And the weird thing is, you look at these addresses and you go, huh, that's weird. All the addresses are in the same town. They're in the same town. The different streets, but same town. So you start looking into it. And then you notice that they were all charged by the same MasterCard or the same Visa. So what they do is they'll document that, hey, this guy does horrible customer service. And whenever someone fucks with me, I keep their money. It's really simple. They fuck with me, they're an enemy. If I owe them money and they become an enemy, I keep their money.
hmm
So that is what happened. And one of the guys took me to court. One of the guys actually, there's like two guys in my entire 30-year business career. Two guys sued me. One of them took me to court and lost. The other guy, he got kicked out of his country club.
hmm
That's it.
So basically, your motto is the opposite of the customer is always right. It's more like the customer pisses you off, I'm going to take your money, fuck off.
It's I don't even label people as customers or not. It's either you're in a win-win ecosystem with me
Right.
or you're not.
Right.
And if you're not in a win-win ecosystem, then there's any good business book will tell you that there's 80% of your money comes from 20% of your clients. And nowadays, thanks to the internet, it's probably closer to 95% of your money comes from 5% of your clients. So I take care of that 5% like gold. I mean, I will fly to their country. I will have lunch and breakfast with them. I'll shake their hand and whatnot for that 5%. For
Right.
that rest of the 95% of the people that just ask me too many questions that have already been answered, are likely to have victim mentalities. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll just cut them off. All I'm doing is cutting them off. So I've even got bots that cut off
I
people
see.
automatically.
It looks like there's bots in the chat room right now. Are those yours?
Mm, I don't think I have bots. No, I don't have bots in this chat room.
Somebody's got bots in. I've never seen this before. There's been a couple of
Really?
people that have said the same thing. They say, "What is it? Where is it?
I don't even see the chat room.
it's in. Where did it go? Bitcoin fund manager is a super smart individual. I love his content. LOL. I've seen that comment before. No, there's no bots here. I I think. Well, we'll keep an eye out for it. But if you're saying there's none, then I guess there is none. But
Yeah, no.
we'll see.
The bots that I have are blocking bots.
Yeah, no, the
And so
same
what they'll
guy.
do is,
These are just probably people just being having a good time in there. But you have blocking bots, huh?
yeah, I have auto blocking bots. So if anybody messages anybody that I'm following using certain expressions, certain keywords, they're just automatically blocked.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome. I don't block everybody on Twitter just because it would just fill up my it would Twitter actually sent me messages saying, "Hey, it looks like automated bot activity. You have to verify your phone number again. Your
Right.
account is locked down." So,
Right. So as I was looking for you, I'm like, where is Bitcoin Fund Manager? One of the people in the comments was like, fuck, I was looking forward to this. I'm pissed. And then he's like, oh shit, he just blocked me. And I'm like, this motherfucker's out here blocking people and ignoring my
I'm just
DMs. I'm getting
I'm
more
just
and more,
leering. I'm just like leering over, or what's that word where you're actually
yeah, I think
looking and
leering
not
works.
saying anything?
So I guess we'll move on, but I just need to know like the other thing that people ask about often, and one of the rumors or things that I've seen floated around is that you were on the run from law enforcement, and you were and I understand that there are probably things that you can't discuss and whatnot, and if you can't, you could just say I can't discuss that. But are you on the run like from
You
from
know,
anybody?
I can't discuss my relationship with the FBI. Is this VPN working? By the way, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, if the FBI wanted to get me, or the
Yeah.
Interpol, or the CIA, or Homeland Security, it's either they're really, really stupid and they can't find me,
Uh
or I'm
oh.
really, really smart and they can't find me.
Huh.
So I'm pretty sure there are guys with 140 IQ, in the FBI and the CIA and the Interpol. I'm pretty sure there's some smart guys in there.
I don't know. Say what you want about Mr. Fund Manager. He's no dummy. There's nothing, this guy is not a dumb individual. I'll tell you that much. I mean, like whatever you're able to do, like he's been around since 2017, and I recall in 2018 actually, um, you were bearish on the complacency shoulder of Bitcoin. I think it was around 14K, and you were like, "Fuck
Uh-huh.
this, I'm out." Like you were one of the only people I can remember that was actually it was you, Kazanomics, and there were maybe Charlie Lee, I guess, but I'll never forget you were bearish at the right time, and this was around January or February, and at that point, I was completely wrong and didn't see it coming, but you did, and I have to give you credit for that. And part of why I'm doing this interview, first off, for my own personal, enjoyment, I really wanted to do this, we could have had this conversation without,
Curiosity.
yeah, without YouTube. I just, like I joke around. I say you're like Korean OJ. Everybody's like, hey, he's a killer, he's a murderer, he did this, he did that. And I'm like, well, he's a Korean guy and he's kind of adorable, and I just can't bring myself to fucking hate this guy. I can't do it. I can't hate you. And I'm like, I just want to do this interview, but at the same time, there's like a major curiosity, and
Sure.
the other thing is people that I know that have been in my group and people that I'm in touch with that they kind of cross ecosystems. There are people that are involved with what you do or just follow you very closely, and people that I have confidence in have consistently for some period of time now said he does make great calls and he's on point. And you're not going to win every trade. I think I talked about this before, but there are some people that aren't actually trading, that are just looking to wait until somebody misses a call and then make fun of them or try to farm clout from that. And then there's people that understand that there is risk management and nobody's going to have a 100% hit rate. You're going to lose, but that's an important concept for anybody that's trading
Yeah.
anything. Is people
Yeah.
will always be wrong. You're going to be wrong. You're not always going to be right, but it's like, when you're wrong, how much do you lose? Do you lose everything? Because if you're
Yeah.
going all
Exactly.
in and gambling, you'll
Exactly.
never make money. You have to understand that. But that being said, it's like you, I've seen you make some good calls. We haven't always been on the same side, like comp, for instance. I tried to warn you about that one, but
I know. No, your timing was a hair better than mine, and so I got liquidated, and then what little money I had left, I did a short and made some of my losses back. But your timing was perfect on comp.
hmm.
Yeah.
This guy says KJ looks up to scammers because he could never. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, people are upset, but at the end of the day, I mean, I enjoy um, movies like with hustling and shit like that. It's like, you ever see the movie Color of Money? Like,
Yeah, I love that.
I bet you do.
Love that. I learned a lot
It's
from movies like that.
yeah. I mean, the game is to be sold, not told, and a fool and his money are quickly departed. And it's like you have people. If you look at what's going on Twitter, right? And I'm not calling anybody out, because frankly, people that are shilling coins and shit coins and whatever during a bull trend, are ultimately like you need that. You want that. I like to follow people that are shilling the shit out of these coins and fucking pumping them up. That's part of like what makes the market exciting. That's something that I
That's true.
used to do, but I don't do it anymore. I just kind of watch, and my TA is better now. But that's part of the game. And everybody on there is at the end of the day facing off against each other. People say, I want everyone to win, but that's not the reality of a market. Everybody is kind of in the same arena trying to take each other's money. And there are plenty of people that, do you think these large accounts, that when they start to show these small cap coins, do you think they're not telling their friends that, hey, this is what let's look at this, and oh yeah, oh shit, I like that, okay. And then they all buy it and then start tweeting about it and it goes up. Like, what do you think that is? And then you're like, oh shit, he put a chart, his TA is so good. Like I said, this is part of the game, guys. But when you start like really dialing it in, and understanding what's going on, there is no rules. Rules are for fucking children, okay? And at the end of the day, you got to feed your family, you got to make money, you got to
Yeah.
win in the market. Like, as long as you're not doing anything illegal or getting caught for it. But to bitch and be like, oh, they did this and they did that and this did that, that's childish. Understand what the game is, know how to play it, and you know protect yourself. But at the same time, you can profit off of that. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. It was actually kind of shocking to me. Um, I didn't graduate college, so I wanted to see what I missed. And since I wanted to get into business, what better place to go than Harvard Business School, right? So I basically just bought their entire course load, and I read all the Harvard books from all the professors, even courses that were no longer offered anymore. And a recurring theme, and any of you guys that went to an Ivy League B school is going to know this. A recurring theme, which shocked me at the time, said, in business, there's nothing under the heading unethical.
Really?
Basically, Harvard says there's nothing unethical in business. There's illegal, just don't do illegal. And then in parentheses, you know what the professor said? The professor says, as long as the penalty is small enough to make the profit worth it. I'm like, what?
Wow.
In other words, Harvard professors are out here telling you, hey, when it comes to business, you can be unethical. You can even break the law as long as it's worth it to you. So that's business. I mean, that's actually how the world works. That's actually how guys with suits and guys with lots of money actually work. So if you're sitting at home saying, oh no, everyone's got to be honest and everyone's got to be totally up and transparent, that's not how the world works. And if your vision of the world isn't actually compatible with the world, guess what? You're not going to get any money, because money comes from the world. Money's in the world. You're here in your own fantasy land of white picket fences. So I personally, I'm a Taoist. And by Taoist, I mean philosophical Taoist, not a religious Taoist. And the way Taoism works is it's really big picture. It's really big picture. So for me, intentionally deceiving someone, intentionally defrauding somebody is unacceptable, because what that does is it creates a web of instability around you. It creates a web of chaos around you, right? I mean, defrauding and lying is chaos. That's all it is. And so if you want peace, if you want a nice, stable life, you don't want any chaos. You don't want any noise. And so if you don't want any noise, you just don't defraud people and don't lie to people. That's it. Now, there's a bunch of people that I've done business with. I've probably done business with over 20,000 people in my life that I've actually done business with, who actually were my clients, who will call me a scammer. And that's okay too. That's okay too. As long as I didn't intend to scam them, they can scam themselves by being a moron, not reading the contract. Assuming there was a guy on my Patreon. I just started Patreon like a month ago. And he said, I think I tweeted this. They tweeted, it's just mind boggling. He says, why did you charge me again this month? I signed up for 2 monthly payments and I got charged twice. You're a scammer. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It?
But
Block.
What do you mean? What? Wait, what?
That's exactly what I mean.
You overcharged him and then you blocked him?
No. Okay, so Patreon charges people once a month, and he's been in there.
How much
2
do
months.
they charge?
You can set that. You can change that. You can totally change
it's at
how.
your discretion. Okay.
Yeah, it's at your discretion. And so he says he's been charged twice, and he's only been in the room for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, oh, geez, there's nothing you can do for guys like that,
So
except
he's been in
let
the
them
room
add
for 2
comments.
months and he's been charged.
Yeah, you can let them add comments to that blog that says I'm a scammer, and if that makes them feel better, fine. If they want to go and dispute the charges on their credit card with their MasterCard or Visa or their bank, fine. I'm just not going to spend any time on it, because time to me is worth more than money. That's it. So I block them. See, he's avoiding me. Of course I'm avoiding him, because he's a time sinker, time sucker, time black hole.
So he paid for 2 months. In the second month, does he? When you say you block him, is it like he loses that month because he annoyed you, or does he still have access?
I have no idea.
You don't know. Okay.
I have no idea. I think it's postpaid. I think he paid twice for the second month. I think he's done. I think he's actually gotten all the value out of it, but I'm not sure. Do I still owe him another month?
It might not be.
It might not be. Do I still owe him another month of time before?
Why don't you give him the money back? Because there have been people that have they've paid to be in the dojo, and it's like, all right, this guy's fucking annoying. I know he's gonna waste my time. just I'll give you your money back. Just get out. I don't care if you've been here for a week, 2 weeks,
I'm
whatever. I'll give you the money back.
100%.
Because I don't want anyone coming back and being like KJ scammed me. Like I just it's not for me. Like I would rather
I get
just
that.
give them the money back and be done with it.
I respect that about you, and I respect that about guys like you. Um, for me, I will refund people the moment they can refund my time. My time is more valuable than my money. That's it. So I tell everybody, even on my YouTube channel, even on my random videos, I tell people, hey, don't send me any Bitcoin. Any of the Bitcoin that you send me is just pure commission. And you need to keep your money in your own account. And we don't offer refunds because refunds take time. So if I'm going to send the guy back his what, $12, his $30 or whatnot, and spend a good 15 minutes doing accounting on it? No way. No way. I'm out here trading millions, and I'm not going to stop trading millions of dollars worth of stuff for a $15 refund
Yeah,
to a
fair enough.
guy
15 bucks.
that misunderstood everything from the beginning, to a
Right.
moron who made his mistake. So if you make a mistake, it's on you. I'm not going to go coddle you and say, "Oh, you didn't read the fine print," and it's not even fine print. It's in bold letters. It says it's monthly, and you get charged per premium post. If you didn't read that, if you're lazy, I'm not going to go wipe your ass for you.
Fair enough. You really did learn from Jews. It's true.
Oh
This is some shit.
no, the Jews that I've worked with, worked under,
This is some Jewish shit.
amazing human beings,
Yeah,
absolutely
no.
amazing human beings.
But they're not going to lose a transaction. They're not going to lose an
No, no,
exchange. That's the
they're
thing.
not
The
going to
Jews,
lose
they don't lose
no
that
matter
type of
what. I
exchange.
mean, I've actually had one mentor guy who was in the fashion industry. He's been kidnapped and he didn't refund people after he's been kidnapped. You would think that if
Unbelievable.
you've been kidnapped, you would be like, all right, okay, here's your money back. But this guy's like, no,
Right.
now you owe me for the time that you took and the lost opportunity of the meeting I was supposed to be at right now, but instead I'm in your warehouse, sort of thing. I was like, wow, that guy's a tough ass.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about BTC or do a screen shares or any charts you want to go over, any TA, anything you can give back to the people that
Yeah, you know what I would
call you a
say.
scammer?
I'll tell you, I'm going to give you guys something that I didn't want to give anybody. I was actually going to charge people for this. See, I charge
What?
people for things.
You're gonna charge me?
I
I'm
was,
surprised you didn't
I was
ask
going to
me for.
charge everybody for this
You're gonna charge
because this
everybody.
is. I was going to charge as many people as I could for this because it's the biggest problem in DeFi and Uniswap.
Okay.
If you go and you buy on Uniswap, you can only buy like $50 or $300 at a time worth of stuff. And then the gas fee is super expensive. And so
It's not
if you
necessary.
buy like $10,000 worth of, I don't know, any Uniswap coin, all of a sudden you get half as much or a third as much because of the slippage, because of that curve.
Yeah.
So what do? How do you buy? So what smart guys do, they figure out when the gas prices are lowest. They sit there and 24 hours a day, they're just like, buy. Like every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, they're sending $300 to Uniswap. On the timed basis, and you're looking at the gas fee, making sure it doesn't go too high. You don't have to do that. You can make a bot do that for you 24 hours a day. All you have to do is have an extra cell phone,
I
and
mean,
it's called,
Uniswap had more liquidity or more volume than Coinbase recently. Like it
yeah,
depends on the coin that you're buying. So
true.
there are plenty that you can get sizable positions without affecting the price too drastically.
Yeah,
The gas fees are
yeah,
expensive, but you're talking
right,
about like the real shit on there, like with no volume. You make a
right. I'm
bot.
talking about the stuff that is going to explode, except right now, like no one's selling it yet. And if they're selling it, I mean, if you're only buying, say, $1,000 or $5,000 worth of something, fine, you don't need this tip. So I guess this tip won't be useful for most people. In that case, I just won't give it to most people. I'll just I'll just give it to the whales that want this tip. Um,
No, I'd
found
like to. I'd
another
like to
one.
continue. Continue. Don't stop.
Yeah, you want this one?
Yeah, I want
This
to
one's
hear it.
okay.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
All right. There's an app there's a couple different apps, and they're called. And by the way, you're going to forget this if you keep calling me a scammer, and if you don't say thank you, you're going to forget this.
What's going on?
Let's see.
Uh,
It's called Touch Macro. Touch
mm,
Macro, Smart PC Touch Macro, or something like that.
mm,
Look for it in the App Store. Look for it in. I think it's even in the Apple iTunes App Store.
mhm.
What it does, it just records your finger touches. So if I click here and then I click here and then I click here, and you can tell it, hey, click, 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 and then it even does the typing. So let's say $15 worth of this coin, or 0.05, zero point 0.5 Ethereum worth of this coin. And you type that in, and then you hit stop record and playback, and then you can set it to playback every 15 minutes. So from your smartphone, you can have things, this phone working for you 24 hours a day doing repetitive stuff that you would have done yourself.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing with it's the same thing. Actually, I'll give you another tip that's more valuable. That's super, super valuable. And I tell this to all our community members all the time. You notice how when you long something, or it doesn't apply to spot, but let's say you've got a 10x long on a coin. It goes up, you're positive. You have profit, right? It goes down, and that profit that you had disappears, and that becomes negative. So it's like, oh shit, I should have closed. And then it goes back up. Oh, cool, I have money now. And then bam, it goes back down. It tends to do that. Price tends to go above and below your buy price until pow, until it explodes, right? So what do you do with all that money that you had that disappeared, had then disappeared, had then disappeared? Imagine what would happen if you had kept all that money that you had before it disappeared. How do you do that? You use the same Touch Macro app to say 0.08% lower than current market price, 0.08% lower than current market price, take 100% of my profit and set an order. So every single time price goes up, you take this profit and you set it as an order down here. And then as price goes down, now all of a sudden your equity, bam, is bigger. And then price goes back up. Now I have profit, again, 0.08%, bam, lower. And then now, so by the time your orders here and price goes this way about 5 times, you've already got twice as much money. You started with $1,000 and price hasn't even moved. Price is still doing this, and now you have $2,000. Like, holy shit, how'd that happen? It's cool, huh?
I'd have to see it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, to be honest. What the fuck? You said so you have a bot then that's trading between a range, right?
Exactly. Every time you have profit, all you're doing is setting an order at support. Because what you're trying to do is long support, right? Here's
Right.
support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's support. So, but very few people can actually get right at support,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're normally like 0.5%, or if you're really good, you might be 1/3%. You might be on Bitcoin, you might be $50 or $30 above support. Like you said with Ethereum on the second drop, I missed the first drop by like 12%. If you miss something by 12%, the most you can long is 8x, 7x, and you'll still get liquidated over time. So what do? You set up a buy, and then every time you get profit, you put that money as orders at support again, because you can calculate support after the fact. You already know where support is. Support's right down there. So you just keep putting your profits down at that number, and every time you hit support, doop, 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 you increase your equity. And so even before a pump, while most people are just sitting there all day long losing money to funding, you've already got 200% profit.
Interesting. That's a gem, guys.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no,
that's what
this
we
guy
do
in the
here.
chat. So I try to pay a little attention to the people in the chat, but there's like a couple people that are clearly very butthurt by you, and you know, they just won't let it go. You know, it's like one of those things where like if there's smoke, there's fire. But sometimes it's like this is a guy who's like, hey, this guy cost me $30, or this guy cost me $15. is there ever one of these things in the blog or anything that you can think of that you're like, fuck, I regret that. Like I shouldn't have done that. Or do you have any remorse for any of these scorned customers? Was there ever a scenario where you're like, that was kind of fucked up?
First of all, most of the people that complain, I think there's only like 3 or 4 people that complained that were actual customers. The rest of them,
They
they
just
gave their
read the
money to a North
blog
Korean.
and what? Sorry.
I mean, they gave their money to somebody else.
Ah.
You gave your money to a Russian hacker, moron.
Hmm.
Go to Russia. There are airplane tickets that you can buy that will put you in Kiev, St. Petersburg, Moscow. Go there and find the scammer.
Hmm.
I mean, hello, I use perfect English, but a lot of these guys are like, sir, use my Bitcoin address, send money to my. Thank you, sir. That's not me. That's obviously not me. It's my picture that someone downloaded, but guess what? You can take screen captures and download things from the internet.
Yes, this is true.
So what do you do? It's like ignore them and block them. That's all you can do. If you're a moron, I don't want you in my space.
Right.
So is there anything that I regret? There was one customer that I actually regret who actually posted that blog.
Yeah, you
Um,
must have really pissed him off.
I totally pissed him off. The guy's a total moron, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. He's so stupid. He's an attorney. I'm gonna get him disbarred just when his kid is about to graduate college or enter college or something like that. His kid's only about 14 years old right now. So I'm gonna make sure that his kid doesn't get into college because his dad is gonna get disbarred.
What?
So yeah, yeah. All you have to do, because when he wrote that blog post, his kid was only like 2 years old. His kid was like 3 years old or something, too young to do any damage to. So,
Wait, but so you regret it because he wrote the blog post, or do you regret it because now you seem like you want revenge now. You're out for
oh,
revenge.
of course, that's what martial artists do. We get revenge. Um, but I'm waiting. This revenge is taking about 16 years. How old
Uh-huh.
is that blog post? That blog post is only like 7 years old or something. We've got about 5 or 6 years left until his kid. I mean, just he
Huh.
was born to the wrong dad.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. Long story short. So my business model is this, or was this: find really, really good suppliers who suck at marketing, make their website for them, and do their marketing for them. And if they get customers or clients or sales, then I get a commission. So that's worked out really well. And so one of the things I did was app development, and I made an app for this guy, a lawyer, and I was late. I totally admitted I was late. I missed the deadline by like 3 weeks or something, which is unacceptable. But this was back when app development was everybody missed deadlines by 3 weeks. Still inexcusable, but this was normal. So what he did was he just found a buddy of his that owned a really big app development firm and got his buddy to make the app instead. And so he reneged on my contract, and then he wanted a refund. So I'm like, dude, I'm still working on your app. I'm not giving you a refund because I'm still working on your app. I apologize. I'll give you a discount because I'm late, but I'm not giving you a refund. And so then he wrote this blog post about me making up all sorts of stuff. But what I regret is not him or what he did. What I regret is what I did, because that's the only thing I can take responsibility for. In the very beginning, in the first meeting that I had with him, I sat down with him. He interviewed me, and his first words out of his mouth were, "Oh, I'm so glad I found you. I can tell you're not a scammer."
Hmm. Famous last words.
Sends chills down my spine now. If a girl sits down on the first date with you and says, "Oh, I can tell you're not a woman hater. I can tell you're not a
Yeah.
cheater."
Like I can tell
Guess
you're not
what?
a rapist.
Exactly.
Like,
Guess what
whoa,
that means?
hey, that
It's
person's
like,
crazy.
guess what that? I can tell you're not a wife-beating rapist, that pedophile. It's like, what? It's like, that's what he said to me. But at the time, I was like, this is a red flag. Why is he judging everybody based on scammer or not? That's his entire criteria. Scammer, 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 not scammer, 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 not scammer. That's his entire mental framework.
He does sound
I should have
really
stayed
dumb.
away from him. So me
You
now,
convinced him you were. He said, I know for certain you're not a scammer. That's
yeah,
what he said
no,
to you.
exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit. So now, whenever I see emails, so you ask me like, do you have a bot set up to block people? Yes. There are certain expressions used by people that are looking for trouble, that are just looking for a fight, that have victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
If I used to date girls that had victim mentality, and guess what? I was always the asshole, even though I did nothing wrong. You do nothing, you're an asshole. You do something, you're an asshole. Why? Because to her, the whole world is filled with asshole guys. Yeah, same thing with guys. So that's what I regret. I regret ignoring that red flag. So now, if anybody throws up I'm a victim, a lot of these guys actually come to me and say, hey, I was ripped off by somebody else. I was a part of a signal group, like, I don't know, some other signal group or some paid group. I was a part of some paid group and they scammed me. Can you block? I would love to join your block. Like,
Yeah, I hear
I
you.
just got scammed, but I trust you, block. And
Right.
they're like, I did nothing wrong. I supported him. I retweeted him 30 times. Block.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's
Interesting.
life is too short for losers and victims. Victims need a villain
Right.
to exist.
Fair enough. So, as far as the markets, you're, are you like are you only trading crypto, or are you dabbling in any other markets, or mainly crypto?
You know, I personally am doing stocks, Korean stocks, specifically because of the fact that Korea is the only country between America and China we're at war that can do business with both America and China.
Right.
Well, including Japan, except Japan hasn't produced anything, manufactured anything for decades now.
Hmm.
So so I'm just buying and selling Korean stocks right now.
Korean stocks.
Yeah, it's
Can
okay. It's not as lucrative as 100x long on Bitcoin.
right. Can you offer us any insight to the BitThumb news, quote unquote news? This kind of reminds me of 2017. Um, where there were like a couple different Korean FUDs that came out during the bull run
Yeah,
that ended up
yeah,
being bear traps, and
right.
this one kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But I'd like to get your thoughts, and your boots on the ground over there in Korea. So what's going on over there.
Yeah, everyone in Korea right now, the two things. I've said this on Twitter too, but this is extremely, extremely bullish. If you lock down, and the lockdown happened just as the price of everything fell. If you lock down all of like what a third or a half of Korea's crypto, and no one can withdraw, guess what that means? That means that nobody can dump on you. And the volume on in Korean exchanges, not just the volume, but think about this: all the money that wasn't being traded, all the money that's just sitting in the Korean exchange vaults. I mean, that's stuff that you're just not going to be able to dump. So now the market is much more buoyant. I That's what people do. I don't know if you realize this, but you probably do. But I'm talking about to the rest of the audience. Big boys play these games. The timing was impeccable, wasn't it? Just as Ethereum was hitting a possible head and shoulders, just as we had a possible head and shoulders on Ethereum, just as the US dollar was bouncing back up, suddenly, bam, the rest. These things are orchestrated. So what you do is you have a big interest, maybe even an American interest, maybe even a Chinese interest that says, hey, I don't want anybody to sell. In fact, I want to cause a dump so that I can buy and make sure that nobody else can sell. How do you do that? Well, you shut down BitThumb. You just pay the prosecutors or something, or take him to a nice room salon and make sure that they have a great old time with the ladies. And then, sure enough, right now, shut him down. Raid, and it happens. It's super bullish if you're not going to get shaken out of your bags.
I actually agree with you on that one. I think it's
Yeah,
bullish. I think
I think so.
it's a bullish move. Um, as far as Korea, this is something when I was there in I believe it was April or May of 2018, the bear market.
Right. You were there for a big party.
Yeah, there was. I had a good time. And then I got sick, but
Oh,
I got sick at a karaoke joint. But the next day I felt like shit. But
ugh,
what I was going around, I was talking to like regular people, people in stores, anybody I could talk to. I could have asked them, the doormen or the people in the taxis, whatever, anybody that I could speak to, and kind of asking them what they thought about cryptocurrencies. And every single person's reaction was, no, oh no, that's not good. Like 9 out of 10 people at that point in 2018 seemed to be very scared because if you remember, it was like they had the kimchi premium and Bitcoin had dumped, and
right.
there was still all pump and dumps happening. Like stuff was like kind of pumping around still,
Yeah,
random coins, the liquidity was starting to go, and then it really kind of fell off a cliff around like May June when it got real nasty through the fall. But now that I look back, it's like that should have been an omen because in America we were always looking to Korea to kind of pump with
right.
BitThumb. BitThumb was pumping, like
Uh-huh.
Ripple, and the volume was huge on Dash. Plus, you have the kimchi premium. But when I was actually over there, you know, just interviewing regular people, not hand selected, just 9 out of 10 people looked at crypto as like very negative and scary and risky and something that they don't want to fuck with at all. And I'm curious to know, like, how would you say the sentiment is now over there? Because I spoke to, there were business people who were bullish on it long term, but the kind of the regular everyday person who got pulled in and maybe lost their shirt buying Tron or something, they were all completely like, I don't want to fuck with this at all, and it's dangerous. And there were business people who were like, yeah, like once regulation comes or blah blah blah, like in the future this is long term bullish. But how would you assess the sentiment of the regular person as well as the more sophisticated investor in Korea now?
That's a really big question, a complex question. Basically, you're asking, in my mind, what you're asking is, are we at the beginning of a bull run or at the end? Or will there even be a bull run? And I think if you look at the charts and if you look at what's recently happened with the world economies and even gold and silver, I think we're just now starting a bull run. Because even if you're just looking at a social metric of how many people are buying and selling, the traffic statistics for Upbit, traffic statistics for BitThumb, they haven't really spiked.
Right.
They haven't like the last bull run, they haven't really spiked. So either this is going to be a bull trap that just kind of peters out, which I don't think so because of the fact that the whole world is topsy turvy right now, and it's times of chaos where huge opportunities arise. So I think fundamentally, strategically, this would be the early beginning. This would be the early beginning of this next bull run.
Hmm.
Yeah, not enough people in Korea are talking about it. The when it's over, when everybody on the subway or the bus is doing this and they're just trading all day long.
Was it like
That's
that
when
in
it's over.
18 and 17?
That's exactly what happened. Every single person, instead of playing video games, instead of playing games on their smartphone, I'm like, huh, I wonder what games they're playing. Every single person had BitThumb and Corbit on their phone.
Hmm.
So yeah, all the exchanges, the two biggest exchanges at the time. So and nobody was watching cute little K-pop girl bands or boy bands. Everyone was trading crypto. So it's times like that when the multi-billionaires sell. Because remember, multi-billionaires already have multiple billions of dollars. They don't need to let this thing go on into ad infinitum. They don't. All they want to do is securely make about 500 or 600% profit. That's it. That's their litmus. That's their level. And you reach that point when everybody is on their phone buying, and that's not happening yet. It hasn't even begun to happen yet. So I think we're pretty bullish. I think right now we're pretty early.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
As far as altcoins, anything you're particularly bullish on? Anything you want to
You
talk
know,
about before we wrap up?
yeah, I'm happy that Huobi and Binance are listing these coins, these
The Uniswap.
Uniswap coins so
Yeah.
quickly. Um, I'm I'm almost. I mean, of course, I'm totally jealous of the guys that made 50x or 80x on buying something on Uniswap a month ago. That's you can't help but jealous and be angry at them.
You're angry
You know,
at
I
them?
should troll them. Yeah, you know what? I should troll them and call them scammers. That's a good idea. That'll make me feel better. But what I love is that now that you have clean charts to look at, thanks to Huobi and Binance, and that you have like 80x and 75x leverage, now it's starting to get fun. We can catch up to the guys that were early, and we can make as much money, if not more profit than they did
How did
in
you
a couple
miss
of
it?
days.
Because I remember your thing was like you were early and you were looking for asymmetrical trades that were like
Right.
100x potentials. Is what happened? You just overlooked it? I know you follow me and Stillman as well,
Yeah.
and we were talking about Uniswap for some time, but you
Yeah.
just seemed to be
No,
late to
I
the party.
tried. I tried buying some Uniswap coins, and I'm looking at the chart. Like the only charts that I could find for Uniswap coins were what is it? CoinGecko.
So this guy
Those are the only charts I
Crypto
could
Shark
find.
created something that actually gives you the charts as
Really,
well.
Crypto
Yeah,
Shark?
yeah,
Okay, I'll have to look for that. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can't figure out which direction it's going. And what's worse, I can't figure out how long I need to hold this coin. I mean, if I have to hold a coin for 3 weeks, that's, you know how many trades I can't do? You know how many trades I'd miss out on? So I made a quantitative decision that said, you know what, I'm going to pass.
Right.
So I passed and just made a bunch of money on Ethereum longs and shorts.
How many trades do you make a day? Would you say?
Whew. My personal trade's probably 5 to 7, 5, 6, 7.
That's not that much. I mean, it's a
No, I
lot. It's a
try.
lot, but it's a lot. That's more than I do for sure.
Yeah, what I'll do if you look at actual transaction
Chartex.pro. Yeah,
Chardex, okay,
yeah.
Chardex.pro, awesome, awesome, awesome. If you look at my transactions, because I'm using a bot, you'll see a whole lot more trades. But for me, when I start a trade, that's just me starting the trade, and then the bot does the rest of buying, ordering, or selling, ordering, so on. So my exchange account will show pages and pages of trades, but I'm looking for trades where um, there's very little risk and we're at solid support, and only when Bitcoin looks like it's bullish, and only when the dollar looks like it's bearish, and only when the price of silver looks like it's bullish. So if those four or five conditions apply, that's when I'm going in. Otherwise, I mean, I've had perfectly good inverse head and shoulder setups get destroyed by the US dollar pumping. And so, yeah, I used to be able to trade in bed at 3 a.m., just kind of barely open one eye and just trade. I can't do that anymore. I did that and I got wrecked a couple of times because I go, I wonder why that fell apart. And then you look at the US dollar, sure enough, it pumped.
Hmm.
So I don't understand guys that don't have at least 5 or 6 monitors. If you don't have 5 or 6 monitors or 5 or 6 cell phones, I don't understand how you can do any trading because you've got to see so many things. You got to keep in touch with, and even social media. If you weren't on Twitter, how would you have known that Bithumb was being raided, and how would you have known that this was bearish? And so you have to have all these screens open. If you're lucky, some people are just lucky. If you're born with the luck of money, then good for you. I'm jealous of you too, But I actually have to work for all my money, so
Hmm. So what's it? I
yeah.
mean, well, what would you do with multiple cell phones? How could that help you trade?
Okay.
You holding them at the same time? I mean, That
This
doesn't.
is kind of I have a I don't know if you've ever seen Korean food delivery guys. Like I'll go into a cafe or a restaurant or something, and what I'll have is I'll have a board. There's a board, and I'll have my phones velcroed to this board, like a sandwich board, and all three of my phones are velcroed, and it looks just like one of those guys on those mopeds that deliver Chinese food in Korea. They've got like three or four phones because they've got multiple deliveries and stuff.
Right.
And so I'll tell girls that are really cute at coffee shops that I'm a um, rapid takeout food delivery guy. And I'm at the age now where they believe me.
Is that good or bad?
It's definitely not good. It's
Right.
definitely not good.
So you
It's
never
not good.
settled down? Have you ever been married? You have kids,
Um, I like girls.
but you don't like kids.
You know, I would love to have kids at one point. I would love to have kids at one point, but I mean, yeah, who knows? Who knows? I might actually already have kids. Who knows?
Fair enough.
I don't. I mean,
Right.
God, father's last to know.
None that you know of.
None that I know of. Yeah.
Do you go to church? I know church is very important in the Korean culture, right? But you're Taoist, so no church then?
Well, um, I've read the Bible about 23 times, literally cover to cover. Read the Quran 3 times, Book of Mormon twice, Buddhist sutras and all that. So I was religious at one point. Now, after reading all that, my conclusion is really, really simple. It's just live however you want and be as disconnected or connected from reality as you wish. The level of connection to reality is how much joy and peace and wealth you're going to have. That's all. So you can believe that, hey, I'm going to die and go to heaven. Is that connected to reality? If it is, then good for you. You're going to be fantastic. But if it's not connected to reality, well, good for you too, because you won't be disappointed. You won't know to be disappointed. So yeah, it's the what the Vedic gurus would call Maya. It's just delusion, and all humans are really good at that. I think humans are the only creature that has the ability to confuse their fantasy with the outside world. I don't think animals do that. I don't think animals fantasize something and then superimpose that onto the world, but humans do. And if you do, you're just going to get hurt. So religion, in so much as it doesn't obscure your view of reality, it's fine. Healthy, good community.
Right.
But in the end, is it real? I mean, is it not? Am I going to get paid for this? Am I actually going to go to heaven? Am I actually going to get sin deduction points? Whatever. So otherwise, it's just a waste of time. It's just fantasy. You might as well be pretending that you're living in Moldor or something,
Yeah.
or
Do you
one of
do?
the Hobbit
You know
kingdoms.
what? I just thought of this. You do a lot of the only content that I've ever seen you do is in English. Do you do content in Korea for Korean clients?
Yeah, I do have a couple Korean clients. I don't like to do a lot of content for Korean clients because the Koreans are used to a real high level of customer service. They're used to a lot of hand holding. So for me, I'm like if I write down on my website that there's no refunds for Koreans, I'll tell people, hey, not only are there no refunds, the money that you send me will disappear, and I will disappear too. I tell them that if the moment you go off script
What?
and ask for something that I'm not offering, or ask a question that's already been answered, block is how valuably I cherish my time. So
But
I try
so
not to take
that's
Korean clients.
probably why people call you a scammer. Because when they ask you a question, you block them and take their money.
No, 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 no. There have actually been very few people I've actually
But it has
taken money
happened,
from and
right?
blocked. Probably 3 times in Probably 3 times in the last 3 years.
Right.
I'm thinking 3 times in the last 3 years.
But don't you
The
think
rest of the
wasn't
guys,
it not worth it? Was it worth it? Like really? Because let's face it, like there are literally people in the chat room now attacking me for even interviewing you
where is
because
the chat room?
on YouTube.
On
And
YouTube? Aha.
you know,
YouTube. Because here's the thing. Most of the guys asking me for refunds, I've never seen. There's one or two guys that I've seen that I'm like, dude, you caused me so much trouble. Even though I got your money, I'm not giving you a refund.
right. You don't want to give it to
But that's only like 3 people. The rest of these morons on YouTube leaving angry comments, you gave your money to a Russian scammer, you moron.
right.
That's it. That's it. Why should I waste my time even looking at the comments of morons who give their precious money to Russian scam? It's probably North Korean, actually.
North Korean.
Yeah, it's probably North Korean. If you look at the way they type, and there's a lot from India as well, and Nigeria, but a lot of the messages that I've seen from smart people who actually send me screenshots of people that the syntax looks like something that a North Korean would have written. Like the word order, the grammatical structure doesn't look Russian. It looks
The audience seems
North Korean.
skeptical. I mean, they're seeming to say that you don't do business in Korea because that's your neighborhood and you don't want Korean people chasing you or something. But I will to play devil's advocate, Korean clients are very annoying. It's true. Korean people are very needy. When they do business with you, they're fucking annoying. You don't want to do business with Koreans. My uncle, he got scammed actually by a guy. The fucking guy, like, Koreans want to do business with other Koreans. They're like, especially like in America, they're like, they're fresh off the boat. They're like, oh, I want you Korean. So he is going to book a trip. He booked some trip to go to Las Vegas with his family, but he booked it through like some Korean guy at church. And I'm like, there's a website called like Expedia and Orbitz. We can do this. And long story short, he didn't go to fucking Vegas, and he didn't get his money back either. But it's like Korean people are attracted. They want to do business with other Korean people, but then they do become very needy and annoying.
Koreans, if you're going to scam people, Koreans are the best people to scam because they're super trusting and they have this.
Especially
Koreans are really, really
My mom would
innocent and
probably
trusting.
trust you. If my mom saw one of your videos, she'd send you her money, and then
Look at the Korean Jew. He's like,
no, it's true. My mom would definitely send you money, and then as soon as like if a trade went south, she'd start messaging you, and you'd probably block her and take the rest of her money. Right? Is that how that would go? Yeah, he's laughing. That's pretty much what happened.
No. Okay. There was this one client that actually paid. He actually paid like, I don't know. I think he sent me a 20% of 1 Bitcoin, so $2,000 or something, right? Just under $2,000,
Right.
which is decent. It's decent money for
That's
a regular
a lot of money
hardworking
to some
guy.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of money to anybody.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
I'd like to make two right now.
Yeah, and then, yeah, sure. And then what he does, I don't reply back to him for about a day and a half, because you know how I'll do promotions and say, hey, 4 hours only, you can get in and become a Bitcoin fund manager client. I say that because for those 4 hours, I can actually check email. Those are the only 4 hours I can check email. The rest of the time, for a day and a half, I can't check email. So a day goes by, and this guy's like a day and a half late. A day goes by, and he starts spamming my Patreon. I wish I had a beer. He starts spamming my Patreon. I got scammed. I knew the blog post was right. He's a scammer. I'm like, dude. Okay, you paid me. I'm not going to give you a refund. Your account is in Binance, and the API code is good. I can trade for you. Your account didn't fuck with me. Your account didn't libel and slander me. You did. So I'm going to be happy with your account. I'm going to trade for your account, but I'm not going to work with you. Mm-hmm. You find somebody else to represent your account, and I will deal with that other person. But you are blocked.
Oh.
That's how I do business.
So what happened?
He never sent anybody else over. If he sends his mom, who's nicer, and says, hey, I'm the liaison for this account. I'm the account representative. I'm the client representative. Fine, I'll deal with his mom or his girlfriend. I'm not dealing with him. So that's how I work. That's how I operate. But that literally only happens once or twice a year. The
So,
rest of these guys, I'm telling you,
has anybody sent a liaison to you and continued to do business and had a success story? Has that worked?
no, they
No.
haven't. I haven't had one person do that.
But how would they
And
know
I've
to
had
do that if they were blocked?
all they'd have to do all they would have to do is have like their mom send me an email from a different email address, or hell, all they would have to do is pretend to be their mom from a different email address. How am I going to know? As long as they don't act like that asshole again, and they're nice and respectful and professional, how will I know if it's really them or not? All they have to do is change their attitude. Just make a new Twitter account and pretend to be a new guy. That's all you have to do. I'm not discontinuing service that you paid for. So, but again, that only happens once every like 8 months or a year. And I've got 30 people in chat, probably 30 or 40 people saying he took money from me. I didn't take money from you, you moron. It was a Russian or some other Korean or Nigerian hacker. Go to Nigeria. And drink the water while you're there.
So what do you do? But okay, so you're trading the account. Let's say theoretically this happens. The
Yeah.
guy gives you 2,000. You're trading the account. Now you tell him to fuck off. Nobody comes back. You're still trading the account. You've turned the
Yeah.
2,000 into 5,000 now. The
Sure,
guy,
sure, sure.
I mean, then the guy's mom shows up and says, "Hey, I'm representing this account. Where's my money?" You know, what would you do?
Oh, it's real simple.
And why would you keep
Um,
trading the account if you know that nobody, like, how do you know if somebody is going to actually come and speak for that account?
well, that account, it's all run by our bots now. So for me, it's more labor for me to find his API code, go into our database and delete it. It's just more time consuming for me to do that than just to keep it there.
Hmm.
So I'll just keep it there, and our bots automatically trade everybody. They're like, sell. And I don't, I'll do a lot of market selling, except I don't dump all at once. I'll do one account, dump, wait 3 seconds, another account, dump, wait 3 seconds, another account, dump. So it doesn't have a huge impact on the order books. And so his account, his account's probably up 30 or 40% since he quit, since we sold everything at the top.
Hmm.
We so he's got 30% profit. What's going to happen is when we have time to do the accounting and actually send him an invoice for his profits, if he doesn't pay, that's when I'll go in and delete his account.
Hmm.
So we'll delete accounts from morons and idiots if they don't pay, and they'll get like a 3-day grace period to pay our commissions. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The whole thing is fascinating. When I say you're a fascinating guy, I mean, I fucking mean it. It's not bullshit. And people are upset, but what they don't realize is, like you said, time is money, time matters. And I don't do a lot of YouTube anymore. I frankly I don't care to do it. Most of the time, it's just kind of like the people who get the most views are just not producing anything of substance. And I know for certain that the content that I've produced in the past year, is not only relevant, it's educational and it's accurate and it's very valuable. So why am I gonna see right now when I get done with this, my wife is gonna be upset with me. Um, I have a situation where I have young children, and when I do a stream for the U.S. audience and I try to go on in a timely fashion, some of the guests make me wait a little bit and it pisses me off. The reason why I'm so sensitive to that is
I
because,
apologize for the late
yeah, yeah,
tardiness.
Koreans are not supposed to be late. But the reason why I'm so sensitive to this is because now what's happening is my wife is now putting two kids to sleep where we normally share that burden. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to get, shit. And no matter what, even though she knows this is what I do, but truth be told, it's like, why am I going to take 2 hours out of my time? My ears are big, so when I wear these fucking headphones, my ears hurt by the time this is over. And I didn't get to trade anything. I wasn't paying attention. I'm talking.
Right.
And to do what? And to just fucking dance like a bear, like a dancing bear in a circus. And hey, what do you think about this coin? And I'm just telling you what to do and giving you financial advice that doesn't benefit me, not financial advice, but giving you suggestions on how you can make money where if you make money I get no benefit, but if you lose money you're
True.
gonna fucking call me a scammer. Like,
Right.
why would I waste my fucking personal time at night unless it was something I enjoyed? And like when I discussed this in the beginning, I said I don't care if anybody watches. Frankly, this is a conversation I want to have because from the day I got into crypto, I saw Bitcoin fund manager and I'm like, what the fuck is he up to? This guy is a master salesman. I can't tell. Like, I would never give you my money. There's no way I would ever, because the fact that that guy came and said, I know for certain you're not a scammer. It's like, I don't know. This guy is sharp. He's selling something. I know he's selling something. I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but I want to know more. And it's kind of amazing. And now it's like you're still around, you're doing your thing. People that I know are like, all right, he's making good calls, and I've seen you be in the right place at the right time more, pretty often. So it's like clearly things have changed. When I think about you in 2017, you were more of an altcoin guy, in my opinion, and you were you had, and I'm thinking of it this way. All right, he's got all these people's funds, and he's able to then use them to put it into the order book. And back then, not everything was so liquid, so it's like, of
Right.
course, it's going to go up. That's a strategy. But as the year went on and time passed, I noticed that you started to shift more towards trading BTC, trading Ethereum, trading with leverage, and kind of pivoted away. I don't see you. You used to do this thing where you'd be like, give me $1,000 and I'll tell you what coin's gonna pump and you'll double your money. And then the Dolphins would get dumped on, and it was very obvious what was happening. Let's be real. That's what you were doing. But but this is what I mean by it's like, all right, like he's here, he's talking. I respect that. There are other people that are smiling in your face, and they're not doing much different. So
To be fair, in my defense, when 2 years ago, yes, we did do that. And even today, occasionally I'll take money for coin recommendations. I will do that if I know something. I will do that if I know there's going to be some kind of catalyst. Sometimes those catalysts are nothing more than pump and dump groups. If I'm hearing in China that some Chinese groups are planning on pumping this coin, hell, I'll buy it and
right, right.
I'll tell you, hey, give me $100 and I will tell you the name of this coin that the Chinese people are gonna pump and dump. So just whenever you get money, just close it. Don't wait till the end because it's gonna get dumped on. So yeah, there are fundamental reasons. They're not just blowing smoke into order books.
Yeah,
So
not
there
for
are
nothing.
real
I'd
reasons
pay you
why.
$100 to know like what coin Chinese guys are gonna pump. I'd
Hell,
pay.
same. I'd give you like 150.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But I mean, this type of information is valuable. That's the game that we
yeah.
play, and you know, it's interesting. But how did you shift from that to more of like an actual trading focus?
Ah, um, one of my main influences was Wolf of Poloniex. In fact, you can follow him at Wolf of Poloniex on Twitter. And we all know
Cool.
that's not his current Twitter, but he was so good at TA during the bull market, not in the bear market, because in the bear market there are real subtle things that bots do to create bull traps. And now I've documented them all, literally all of them. I'm not kidding. I've in TradingView, you can only go back so many days on the 1 minute candle. So what I used to do is just have a bot set up to print out every day and a half. I'd print out all the 1 minute candles, 1 minute candles, just print them all out. So that I'd have a library of thousands and thousands of pages of charts where now I can leisurely compare 1 minute charts. And I'm looking at what the bots are doing. And you can see these bots. What they'll do is they'll make a head and shoulders that look like it's going to dump. And then you won't even see this in the order books. So if you're using order book indicators, this will not help you. You can only see this in the price. And sure enough, just as Bitcoin starts dumping, they're there to buy it all. Have you noticed a bunch of, even Ethereum, tons of diagonal head and shoulders started dumping and go slightly under the trend line, and then they go pow, they explode back. In fact, it just happened about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. And so it's the ability to know, is there a whale sitting there willing to buy everybody's dumps or not? And to do that, you have to put in your time. So yeah, our algorithm's complete,
That's a good point.
and
That's a very fair point, guys. I mean, that's knowledge there. I mean, like him or
it,
not.
it was hard.
But one of the things that I mean, I started trading and paying attention to the 1 minute, and that was one of the most important things for my own TA and trading that I could have done
Yeah,
because you're just processing so much more data. And
yeah,
I spent people are like, KJ, Kaz mentored him, and we did a stream together, and you know these type of things. But the reality is, I spent thousands of hours, and I lost money, and I put my,
yeah,
I paid my tuition, but I really put the time in and trading that 1 minute, and I was watching that plus order books, 18 hours a day, and
yeah,
without moving. And
yeah,
like an Asian person playing StarCraft. I mean,
yep.
I'm about
Oh,
that
you got to do
life.
it that way.
And when you do that, you start to realize things. So not everybody has the ability to spend that much time. But if you're serious about trading and you want to get better, like watching the 1 minute and even just paper
Yeah,
trading it, eventually you're going to have to put your money up because you don't know if you're right until you bet. But
that's the thing. I found that if I didn't put my money up, if I was just paper trading, I wasn't interested, so I
right,
wouldn't learn
it's
anything.
not the same thing. Yeah.
No, it's not. It doesn't feel. It doesn't taste the same. So you got to lose money to learn. There's no way you're going to learn and not lose money, unless I don't know, you're some kind of savant. And I wish I was some kind of
Sometimes
savant
people
because I'm
do, but it wasn't my experience. It was in 2017, but
right,
that was the luck of the timing and being in the right
right.
place, and that's why trading trends is so important because if you understand what you're looking at, you know, you know, okay, this has a very good shot to be like the tail end of a bull market. But the reality is, the tail end of a bull market is when you make the most money, as long as you get
Right.
out and you make it in the shortest period of time. Like the trades that I'm taking, I try, like, for instance, today, I didn't even realize, by the time I realized I had gotten filled on my order, it was already well in profit. You don't want, like, the sign of a good trade is when it hits your order very close to the bottom or the top and then reverses, like right away. You want to be in profit right away. You don't want to be
Yeah,
sitting there, at your order, giving everybody else an opportunity to take a position there. Um,
exactly.
so,
Randomness.
yeah,
Randomness. You don't want a lot of that to get in the way of your trade.
anyway. So we've been going
And
for,
that's
yeah,
time.
yeah. So speaking of time, I'm already going to be in trouble when this is over because Bitcoin Fund Manager made me wait. And, you know, it's fucked up. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. I found this to be quite interesting and fun for me, and that's all that matters. So, if you liked it, make sure to hit a like. Bitcoin Fund Manager, any last parting words before we sign off?